Okay, so let's admit the harsh truth. Not everything about being a cat parent is perfect and cute and cozy. Almost everything is, but there's the elephant in the room: poop. If you're a cat parent, that means having to do a lot of litter box maintenance. But are you getting everything right? There's a chance you might not be. But don't worry, I'm here with more poop-based facts than you can shake a stick at. These are 6 mistakes to avoid in regards to your cat's litter box. Mistake 1. Not cleaning it enough. We fur baby parents know how meticulous cats are when it comes to cleanliness. They bathe themselves for hours on end, licking away, pruning, and perfecting their fur. They can be fussy, bless them. They can be prissy. We love them, but they can act like sanctimonious aristocrats at times. Probably where the idea for that Disney movie Aristocats came from. So think about it. Would they want to be anywhere near an unclean litter box? Of course they wouldn't. A member of the British royal family wouldn't tolerate a messy toilet, so why should a cat? Because that's the level of regard they hold themselves in. And quite right too. The ancient Egyptians used to worship them as gods. They deserve better than an unclean toilet. Therefore, a messy litter box is a problem because if it's too messy, your cats will feel too good to use it, so won't. And if they won't use the litter box, that poop is going to wind up somewhere else. And who knows where that might be, but it won't be good. So how often do they need you to clean the litter box? Obviously, there's debate, but every few days should be good enough. But the ASPCA, that's the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, for those who don't know, go so far as to suggest you should scoop the litter box as much as daily. In fact, they go further than that. They even suggest that once a week you should clean the box out with unscented soap and baking soda to keep it nice and fresh and appealing for your cat. I maybe shouldn't admit this, but that would make it cleaner than my actual human toilet. In exploring the ASPCA's website, I found another fact worthy of noting. Once your cat learns to dodge the litter box, that habit can become, in their words, chronic. Even if you then wash the tray so it's so squeaky clean you can eat your dinner out of it, but please don't do that. Your fluff ball will always remember that one time when it was so messy they felt they had no choice to avoid it. So might avoid it again. Maintaining a clean litter tray is vital for teaching your tiny little terrors good habits. Mistake 2. Placing the litter box in a bad location. If you're not familiar with the new website, Alley Cat Alleys, I really recommend it. It's a great resource for feline facts, and one thing they note is how key a good location is for the litter box. Namely, they mention how important privacy is. You should place the litter box away from where there's a lot of human foot traffic in the home. You should place it where their chance of being seen is minimized. And it's one of those facts that seems so obvious once you know it. Because, as per usual, a great way to figure out how a cat thinks is to take a moment to think about how you think. Would you like to be watched while you do your business? No, of course you wouldn't. So why would your cat? If the placement of your cat baby's litter box is in a place where you or other humans might see them, your cat will come to find using the litter box an embarrassing activity, something in which they are exposed at their most vulnerable. If your fuzzy little doofus comes to associate the litter box with humiliation, they might feel the need to do their business elsewhere, somewhere they have more privacy, and before long you might find unwanted presents tucked behind the couch and in other such dark corners, and nobody wants that. That's why it's crucial to tuck the litter box away in a private space where your cat can have some alone time. The fact that keeps the smell further away from you is just a good bonus. Another common mistake when it comes to litter box placement is placing it near a loud appliance. To quote the website from East Meadow Veterinary Center, loud noises can startle cats, making them avoid the litter box. Keep the box away from noisy appliances like washing machines or dryers to create a calm environment. But it's not all about placement. Sometimes the tray itself can be the issue. Mistake 3. Using a litter box that's too small. This one is possibly kind of obvious, so we can breeze past it, but having a litter box that's too small is a big no-no. What's the golden rule? Think about yourself. Would you find it uncomfortable to use a toilet that's way too tiny? Yes, of course you would. It would be annoying and weird. If you're in the market for a new litter box and are in doubt as to what size to get, always err on the side of caution and embrace the philosophy of bigger equals better. Give your little fluff ball enough room to move around. Mistake 4. Filling the litter box too deeply. The weird thing about this job is I frequently learn things that make me realize I'm not good enough at being a cat parent. I had always assumed filling up the tray with as much litter as possible would be the best way to go. It gives a lot of depth for the waste to get lost in, like the Great Sands of Egypt. But it turns out that while that is what's best for me, as it reduces how much poop I have to see, cats prefer a shallow amount of litter. Bringing up the ASPCA again, they recommend 1 to 3 inches is the perfect amount. This preference in cats is due to them wanting covering their waste to be as easy as possible. And if they're quite literally sinking into mountains of litter, that dials up the challenge somewhat. And nobody wants disposing of their waste to be hard. Imagine if you were only allowed to flush the toilet after solving a crossword. With that said, the site Fuzzy Tums makes a great point worth repeating here. Every cat is different, of course. So while 1 to 3 inches is a great rule, it's always worth keeping an eye on them and trying to ascertain if your cat specifically would perhaps like more or less litter. And what litter should you use? We'll touch on that a bit later. But first, mistake 5, not providing enough litter boxes in a multi-cat household. Some of you will have multiple cats, and if you have just the one litter box, I totally get the logic. Your house might have only one bathroom, and if more than one person needs to use it, the others have to wait. So why should it be any different for cats? But as much as we love them, as much as they are our children and we are their parents, they just do not have human levels of patience. If you've got 3 cats that all need the toilet but only one litter box, the other 2 aren't going to hold it and be civilized like humans. But in addition to that, there's another issue: territorial disputes. Given how personal and vulnerable of an experience going to the toilet is if one cat considers a litter tray to be theirs, the idea of getting anybody else to use it will be unacceptable to them. So let's say you have 2 cats called Fluffy McGee and Donovan. If Fluffy McGee considers the litter box theirs, but Donovan is trying to use it, Fluffy McGee will start a fight and try to stop Donovan using it, even though Fluffy McGee doesn't even need the toilet. Now, if both Fluffy McGee and Donovan are territorial, you'll have a disaster on your hands every time it's poop o'clock. The best advice I can give is to make sure you have one litter tray for each fur baby, and possibly even one extra, to prevent any litter box wars. Yes, your house will stink, but this is the life you chose, and you know you love it, really. Mistake 6, changing the type of litter. A bit of change is good. Variety is the spice of life after all. And if you had toast for breakfast today, have cereal tomorrow. But sometimes consistency is best, and that is definitely true when it comes to the type of litter you're using. Every brand, every style has subtle differences, and no matter how subtle, your cat will pick up on those differences. I mean, of course they do. You'd develop an intimate knowledge of anything if you had to nestle your butt into it and poop. If things suddenly feel different, that will confuse your cat, maybe even upset them, because they've lost the familiarity. And remember, this is a highly vulnerable moment. We're back to the golden rule. Think of yourself. Would you like a shock in the middle of defecating? I'm guessing no. A great way to ensure they continue to use the box is to pick a brand of litter and stick to it, no matter what. Let your fur baby get used to it and do your best to never change it unless you have to. Remember when I said I'd offer advice on what litter to get? Well, the answer is simple: whichever one you are already getting, as that is what your cat knows. Those are some common mistakes when it comes to litter box maintenance, something that is important to all cat owners, but especially owners of indoor cats who have some unique demands. Want to know about the others? Then you might want to watch this video next.